In today's video, Peter and I are going to share small business hiring tips that anyone can take advantage of.
This probably goes without saying, but offering attractive compensation and benefits packages is probably one of the best ways that you can get great candidates to apply to your jobs and want to work at your company. Make sure that your positions match or exceed others in your industry for their pay rate and that you are offering benefits that are standard for your industry. If you do that, you are going to have great candidates applying to your jobs.
Peter, you said it should go without saying, but it's worth saying because in our role as a staffing company, we see this mistake made over and over. Companies struggle to hire because they don't pay enough. It's an easy fix. It might be a painful one a little bit internally, but it's going to be the difference between, as Peter said, attracting great candidates or potentially not attracting any. And don't forget about the benefits package either. Not everyone places salary at the top of the list. It's important to everyone, but there's a lot of candidates out there who place almost as great value on the strength of the benefits plan. To attract the best candidates in today's market, you have to develop a strong employer brand. Nearly every young professional places a high degree of value on that. And it's not hard to do, but it is something you have to be conscious of doing. It's not the old school way of thinking, that's for sure. So think about how your company or your brand is seen publicly. That's how employees or potential employees are going to judge you and decide whether you're an organization they want to come work for.
We've mentioned it in other videos, but we live in an online culture and employer brand is huge. Every employee cares about what their company represents these days. Employer branding is the number one thing that is searched for before candidates even apply to jobs. So a great tip for small businesses to attract great employees and great is to offer opportunities for advancement. It's something that a lot of employers don't think about. They think, well, this is a great company that anyone would be lucky to come work for. Employees want to feel like they're progressing in their career. They want to feel like they're going somewhere. So making sure that you are providing those opportunities to them is a great way to get candidates in the door.
And according to the Society for Human Resources Management, small businesses generally offer greater advancement opportunities than large ones. So use that to your advantage when you're out in the marketplace recruiting. A key hiring tip in 2024 that will surprise no one is to offer flexible work opportunities. Employees don't want to work in the office. Some will, some have to, but most don't want to. The numbers are undeniable. So it's something you should strongly consider in your recruiting process. Can you offer a flexible work environment? Can you let employees work at home at least some of the time, if not all of the time? It will open up your candidate pool significantly.
Pandemic really changed the face of the job market and how companies operate. It showed that a lot of these businesses can function as fully remote operations. Candidates haven't forgotten that. A lot of Gen Z candidates have only ever seen that type of market. So if you can do anything to get positions into a flexible or a remote setup, that is going to be something that's going to be huge. So this is the tip that's always relevant. Streamline the hiring process. Candidates don't want to sit around. They don't want to be dragged through email after email and call after call or interview after interview. Make your decisions quickly and decisively because a good candidate is going to have multiple job offers. They're going to have multiple interviews going on. And if you drag your feet and wait around, they're going to be gone.
It's something we experience on a day to day basis in the recruiting business. Some companies are really struggling to adapt to the fast paced market that we're in. Things move quickly today. And as Peter said, the top candidates aren't going to stay. So if you have a slow hiring process, I hate to say it this way, you're not going to end up with the best candidates. When you're hiring, always consider the strength of your job description. It should closely resemble, if not exactly resemble, the actual job that needs to be done. Many times, recruiters, whether internal or external, aren't going to understand the function of the job as well as the hiring manager. That's normal. So, the better the job description can describe the duties, the better equipped they are to recruit the right candidates for the role.
Not everyone is a great writer. I totally understand that. But there are tools out there that can really help you write a amazing job description that really describes the nitty gritty of what is included in a job, what responsibilities are needed, what qualifications are needed. So make sure to take advantage of all those tools out there because writing a great job description is the first step to getting a great candidate.
And one more thing that it's important for is it will reduce your candidate drop off. If a candidate applies to a role based on what's in the job description and then finds out either through the interviewing process or even worse, after they've started, that the position doesn't reflect what was written in the job description, they're probably going to bail pretty quickly.
So while I've mentioned that you should streamline your hiring process and hire quickly, it's also important to hold out for the right employees. Don't just make rash decisions because you're scared of someone getting away. Make sure that the person that you are interviewing, that the candidate that you have is right for your role, not only technically, but also culturally, and that their soft skills match your team, because that is a really important thing, making sure that they are the person who is not just there for the job, but right for the job.
A recent survey showed that nearly 75% of employers acknowledge hiring the wrong candidate for a job. And on average, that mistake costs about $15,000 per hire. The next tip, leverage referrals when hiring. It just makes sense. Use the people who you know best to determine which candidates you should be recruiting and considering joining your team. That's your internal employees. I highly recommend putting together an employee referral program. That is a great way to encourage the right behavior. But in many cases, all you have to do is ask, and your employees will want to bring in those people who they know are great professionals, who they want to be associated with and work around during the day.
If you followed some of our other tips and you established a really great company culture, getting employee referrals should be a no-brainer. That's going to be people who really like working at your company are going to bring on their friends. It's going to bring on other people who they think will really like working at your company. It's the best way to get people who really care and really understand your internal mission and your internal culture on board with your team. Make sure you're posting your openings on one of the great job boards that's out there online, whether it's Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Career Builder, or LinkedIn. There are tons of job boards out there that have amazing candidates on them. So having your jobs posted to those is going to be one of the great ways that you can find the right candidate for your job.
It makes perfect sense to take advantage of job boards, but don't become too enamored with them. There are countless a variety of them out there. If you focus on just the major ones, you'll cover 99% of the market, and that's more than sufficient. In 2024, everyone should be incorporating social media into their recruiting process. Now, LinkedIn is the most obvious one that people think of with business, but don't discount the others. There's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Reddit. You can be very creative in how you use these different platforms to attract candidates and to help qualify them too.
84% of employers use social media in some form for their recruiting effort. You should be one of them. While staffing experts have varying opinions on the degree you should be using them, it's universally agreed upon that it should be some factor in your hiring process. Make sure that you are using all of your tools to find these great candidates because it's going to tell you a lot about them personally. This is a way that you can get ahead of the curve and find amazing employees. An easy win for a lot of businesses with candidates is to promote sustainability. It's a really hot topic right now. It's something that Gen Z and millennials care about a lot. So if your business is in a place to promote a sustainable workflow or go green, that is going to mean a lot to candidates and is going to potentially help you attract the right talent to your team.
So if that is something that you place value on as an organization, by all means, take advantage of it, but don't fake it if it's not the case. Employees will sniff that out and you don't want to get caught in that trap. So if it's something you can leverage, do it, but don't feel like you have to either. If you're looking to hire the best employees out there, the ones who are most ambitious and driven, then it makes sense to focus on promoting and cross training once they're hired. So make sure you have an avenue to provide that once they're hired.
And finally, partnering with a reputable staffing agency is going to find you amazing talent for your team. Recruiters are motivated to put the best candidate forward for a hiring manager. Recruiters do this day in, day out. They are experts in the job market. They can help you to navigate the candidate field, the job boards, anything that you need. A reputable, good staffing agency is going to be able to find you exactly the employees you want on your team.
Not all staffing companies are alike, and it's certainly not a one size fits all scenario. But if you take the time to find the right partner, the right recruiting firm to work with, it'll make all the difference in your hiring and make your life much easier. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.